What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Life Made Living, where we talk about anything and everything involved in how we can create and live a life we enjoy and feel a sense of purpose in. If you haven't caught on by now, I'm a huge believer in our health and the role it plays in our lives. And to me, health is many different things. We hear terms like healthy relationships, healthy habits, healthy foods, healthy lifestyle, and anything else somebody wants to entice you with, because we all have this deep-rooted need and want to be healthy in every sense of the word. Another word we commonly find latched onto healthy is happy, as if they were two different things. And if you ask my sister, who is a fitness competitor, she might have a compelling argument that they in fact are two different things. But for us as the general public and the average humans, just trying to get through our day-to-day, we need to understand and adopt the idea of being happy means being healthy and vice versa. So with that being said, let's jump into today's video. And today's topic was inspired by a company, a project, and a movement by Dan Buettner called Blue Zones. Basically, he searched all over the world to find where people were living the longest and what they were doing to live so long. He then took these principles and developed a program that cities can implement for a result of a healthier community. Things like bike paths, accessible parks, guidelines for restaurants and food vendors, school programs, and even things people can do in their own homes. Now, these results have been amazing, and he has done the same thing with places having the highest level of happiness. And I really believe in this theory and think this is something every city and community needs to implement, but it can only be done if all community leaders are on board and willing to take on an active role. Well, I'm not the mayor, and rather than waiting for my city leaders to implement this plan, I can try to develop the same living conditions on my own. So while this conversation was inspired by Blue Zones and Dan's work, I'm not going to be giving his step-by-step guide on happiness. You can find it in his book, but first we need to decide for ourselves what happiness means to us and if we're ready and willing to take back control over it for ourselves. Then we'll find our own reasons for living and implementing new ways we can achieve that true happiness. So the first thing we need to do is decide if we are happy or unhappy. And there's no middle ground here. We either are or we aren't. Now that doesn't mean we can't have moments of happiness or unhappiness, but it's the general overall state of being we tend to find ourselves in. And I'm going to take a guess and say if you search this video, you probably have something in your life you're wanting to make a shift in and become happier. That could be one thing, or that could be multiple things. Either way, it's a great starting place to have that self-awareness, then the desire to make the change. Now, let's go back to what I said earlier about happiness as a state of being, not a state of having. If you have the internal dialogue of, when I have this job, I will be happy, or when I have this salary, I will be happy, or when I weigh this much, I'll be happy. Statistically proven, this actually isn't true. In fact, studies are now showing that those who have a desired amount of things are still averaging a lower score of overall happiness than those who are living with only a certain means to be comfortable and also have a sense of purpose. In Dan's book, he talks about this idea that we all have a set point of happiness, and things like winning the lottery or having an increase in your salary causes a moment of happiness, but then after about a year, we're back at our set point of happiness and where we were before all of it happened. The same thing has been shown to happen with unhappy events. So now we're to the point where we all say, but I don't have a choice. I have to work. I have to go to school. I have to whatever else might follow the end of that statement. This idea that we have burned into our minds of obligation. Saying I have to has become the same as saying I need to. And we've lost the understanding of what need actually means. Yes, you need to work. You need to make money, but you don't have to do it for a life you don't need. It's scary and it seems impossible, but if you truly want to have a happy life, you have to live a life that's aligned with your purpose. And there are very tangible ways of doing that. Now, when deciding if you're happy or unhappy and determining what your set point is, consider your purpose and if you have one at all. I heard it really beautifully said that our passion is doing what we love, and serving others by doing what we love is our purpose. If we're separating what we love and what we do in our lives, then we aren't aligning ourselves with our purpose. If we have to put our passions and what we care about on the back burner to do what we think we need to, or rather what we have to, we aren't living with our purpose. We aren't living doing what makes us truly happy all the time. My next point is to stop letting others decide what you do every day and take back control of your own happiness. If you find yourself constantly dreading Mondays or looking forward to the weekend or even just to the hour when you get to clock out every day, then it's time to make a change. That might not mean you have to quit your job entirely. It may just mean you need to reevaluate and find your sense of purpose in that space. Or it actually may mean you need to leave and find something new altogether. Not too long ago, I remember when I would take time off from work and semester break from school to go do something I loved, and it wasn't not only something I loved and was passionate about, but something that actually paid me. Something that people would actually ask me if I got paid for because it wasn't the typical job. This idea of it not being a real job stuck with me though, and really kind of pushed me back into working a day job and back to school. But now I had a purpose, and when I got back to school, I quickly changed my focus in both of those areas. This moment of realizing someone was willing to pay me for doing something I already loved was my turning point. I also learned that if you're continuously adding value to yourself, there will always be money to be made, and it should not be the driving force for whatever you're doing. Now, think about the people in your life. Do you find yourself with other people you would consider happy, or would you say they are unhappy? This is telling of our own happiness because we tend to gravitate towards those who are most similar to us. I'm not saying you have to ditch your friends, but if you're consciously surrounding yourself with happy people, your level of happiness will increase. And those who are unhappy and unwilling or not making a conscious change to their own state of being will weed themselves out. Also, stop letting others tell you how you should be happy. On this platform specifically, you can find endless hours of videos that claim to have the key for accomplishing something involved in our state of well-being. And usually those videos are titled something like, "What I ate to lose 20 pounds," or "My workout for a smaller waist," or "How I do my everyday makeup," or "My morning routine," vlogs. And these should be used as vlogs and not as a step-by-step guide. I watch these videos and sometimes think, well, great, my morning routine sucks because I can't meditate for 2 hours unless I wake up at 4, but then I won't be getting the 8 hours of sleep I'm supposed to be getting from my night routine. And if I don't get 8 hours of sleep, then I can't use my journal because I didn't dream, so I didn't get into a REM cycle. What will I have to write about in the morning while I'm drinking my herbal organic latte on my balcony that overlooks the ocean? It's overwhelming. Stop it. Part of being happy is knowing what that means for you, and nobody's blog post, Instagram caption, or YouTube video is going to have that laid out step by step for you. So instead of spending time looking at what everyone else is doing to be happy, look at your life every day and make a list. Make a list of everything that goes into your day, not what you think should go into your day, but what actually does. And then put those things into 2 categories. Celebrate the things that make you happy and capitalize on them. Look at the things that make you unhappy and start to work on that list as possibilities for increasing your happiness. And just maybe that morning cleanse shake is actually on your unhappy list. Also, be careful not to be fooled by things we think make us happy, but in reality are just a tactic we use to avoid doing our unhappy things, like hitting the snooze button makes you happy because you gave yourself 5 extra minutes before you had to get up for that job or that task you don't really want to go to. Take away that unpleasant job or whatever else, and there isn't a need for the snooze button anymore. It didn't make you happy, it just acted as a band-aid for the bigger issue. Remember, happiness isn't something you can buy or subscribe to or have anybody else decide for you. It's something you have to create. There are things in life and cards we are dealt that play a role in our happiness that we can't control. But if we are being mindful and taking back control over what we can, then in those unexpected moments, we can have a better understanding of ourselves and decide how much power we really want to give up or give into that. Willpower plays a huge role in happiness, and willpower is like muscle. When it's used and strengthened, it will help us in those moments that we need to be stronger. But if we aren't taking the time to build it up, then it will be weak when we need it the most. Now, there's so many other amazing things that go into this topic and about living a long and healthy life. But before you make any decision to change where you are right now, make sure you have taken steps to be in tune with your happiness and your purpose, so those decisions can be aligned with what truly matters to you. You can fill your day with reaching goals that fulfill your purpose and surround yourself with people and paths that bring you happiness. Now, it's time to take health back into our own hands and start living our lives instead of trying to figure out how to live what everyone else has decided is the best life, or what they think it is. Well, you guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And I want to know what you guys have done to find your purpose and your happiness. Leave them down in the comments below. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos and a chance to be a part of the conversation. So until next time, here's to chasing your dreams and a life made living. Bye.